Hi, this is Craig Metrowich for VideoCelebrityNews.com, and earlier on we were on Facebook.com/Metrowich, in which we did a live, uncut, unedited intro. And I've got with me today two wonderful people, youth on this side, wisdom on this side. You can say no. Introductions. I've got Dr. Peter van Rooyen with me. That's wisdom this side. I've got a superstar athlete this side with me, and that's Ruan van Rooyen. And today we're doing the uncut, unedited version for Video Celebrity News, in which we're going to discuss in detail on the theme about self-confidence equals winning, with the intention to inspire you, energize you, and excite you about life and business. Doc, can you mention to us how proud you are as a parent, first of all, before we get to the business side, that we have in your family's DNA now a superstar being your son? How does that feel? How does that feel? You're in shock. You really want to know. How does that feel?
Is it really possible to answer that?
Yeah, how does that feel?
It's amazing. It's an unbelievable privilege to be a parent to such a committed person. And
let's hope he stays this way, by the way. Hey? If he doesn't, I'll come and sort him out for you.
Remember you mentioned genes?
Yes.
They don't change.
They don't change. Eh?
So he won't change.
Okay.
No, Ruan, it's been amazing what he's achieved in a very short space of time, since his career didn't start long ago. I mean, it started very late during the school setup, and then from there onwards, it just went up.
So let's position that. Why are we doing this interview today is that Ruan is a superstar athlete, went to the World Championships in the T30 category, 200 meter, right? You also did the 100 meter, but the 200 meter is what we're going to talk about, because I saw there that you did what we call your personal best. Let's go with it. How did that feel on the day, entering a race, not winning, but knowing that that was your personal best? Let's talk about that feeling. How did that feel?
Well, it obviously felt very good, but for me it felt really good, because the World Champs is the biggest stage there is, and if you can do your best on the biggest stage there is, then that's
the ultimate.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate.
That means you can thrive under pressure. And
the stage fright. In other words, the stage fright you managed to control. What's also very exciting is you also qualified in the same year, and you passed your studies in accounting. But you didn't just pass. How did you do?
He did well.
He did well.
Extremely well. He did his honors, not just his B degree. He did his honors. He finished his honors in one foul swoop. Everything, no subs, no nothing. Just finished. Done.
Look, that is phenomenal. I mean, to be an athlete, top in your game, as in representing your country, to be abroad in an environment that's not your home environment, to then also be able to not only do well in your studies, but to do it at the highest level. I think that takes a round of applause. What do you think? I think so. That takes a round of applause. Right, let's chat about Dad.
Before we chat about Dad likes to add here that we had to do some fancy footwork around his test times, because that was coinciding with the World Championships.
Right. So the logistics of that was quite hectic, eh?
It was very, very difficult. And we have to add, that was the case, because if it was plain sailing and the test was not coinciding, then you don't know. There's no problem. But having to move your series and participate, that takes some doing.
Well, even this interview, I mean, when we first discussed how could we do this, because I really wanted to have us together, because let's be blunt, I think this is one of the rarest interviews in the world, because I've got dentistry specialist on this side, digital dentistry, also presenting his own right on his subject matter. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then I've got the son on this side, who, let's talk about your disability, because that hasn't come across yet. That's what also makes you quite unique, is that you haven't seen that as to stop you competing and stop you, being academically really great, and also being great at the sports side. For our audience, just tell us about your disability.
So I have cerebral palsy, which means the one side is not as good as the other side.
But you're still fast. That's the good
for
news.
Me, it's not that bad. So it's not like I can't walk or can't run or whatever.
And your training, coming in there, for my understanding, is how's your training different to somebody that, for example, Usain Bolt, who I'm sure would be one of your aspirational heroes, doing a 19.19 world record in the 200 meter, right? So what's your time? You're in the 24s, if I remember correctly, right? So to put that into perspective, I mean, you're still very fast. I mean, I made the statement earlier on as I think you'd beat most able people on a track. My question is, how do you train differently? Is there a different way of training? Do you do strength training differently? Do you do pool workouts? Explain some of your training.
At the moment, I don't do any training differently. Within the other guys, I actually train with the non-disabled guys.
But that's fantastic, because that means you're not in your mind. And sorry for interjecting. In your mind is you don't see that as an issue. They might be a little bit faster, but you're going to try and catch them.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing is I'm not the first one over the line when he's training, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't phase you.
Yeah, most of the guys in the training group anyways beats most people in the country.
So let's go to Dad here, right, Doc. Let's talk about what you've seen as far as business, going back to our theme, right? Self-confidence equals winning. My experience is exactly that. As soon as your self-confidence in business starts to go down, even when it's tough times, then your results are going to go down. You've got to keep reinforcing to yourself. How's that helped you in your experiences from a dentistry point of view? Let's talk about because here's the question. Let's talk about your international travels. The question is, how's your international travels presenting on your subject matter helped you with your self-confidence?
Amazing. The international travels brought a wider horizon, where you get involved with people in your profession who are at a higher end.
Yeah.
Let's be real and let's be honest. In all walks of life, we have different levels of acceptance. Some people just go to work every day. I, for instance, go to my passion. I love what I do, and I made it my goal to set out to be at the top end of the game. You can never call yourself the best, because there's always someone that knows something that you don't know. However, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't aspire. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and improve yourself. And for me, at the time, maybe it was my lucky break. At the time when digital dentistry started to become recognized, I was at the forefront. And that gave me a heads up on many people. And I could go, and I was invited internationally. I was invited to do a speaker's course. I was invited to go.
You did something this year. Just tell us a bit about that. When you specifically, where did you present recently?
Recently, I've presented in. You might think I went on holiday. I presented.
Well, that's what I thought. Sorry.
I presented in Berlin. I presented in Mauritius. I presented in Singapore.
Now, hang on, that's a holiday. Don't you agree? Why weren't we invited to that? Mauritius.
Remember to book it right. Remember to book it right. If you present on Thursday and Friday, then make sure that you only come back on Sunday.
Stay for the weekend, windsurf, surf. I get that.
That's it, yeah.
And so from being a South African based in Cape Town, South Africa, what you're saying is that all of us don't need to have the limitation of the fact that we can't participate, be it athletics on a global basis at a world-class level, and being it academically on a world stage with peer review, if I understand. Yours is more peer review and peer acceptance versus yours would be, Ron, yours is a world championship. There's a time, it's a defined, crystal clear target for you to beat. Whereas yours is really, it's peer review and respect would invite you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wisdom, your wisdom and understanding of the industry.
Yes, absolutely. You might say that's quite a critical thing.
Yeah.
It's all about evidence base. It's all about challenging new frontiers with the digital side of things today, because there's not many people that have actually caught onto this yet.
Yeah.
However, let's take a small country like South Africa. We were talking about international competence. If you look at our dental fraternity, there's approximately 10% penetration, which is on par with the rest of the world into digital manufacturing in dentistry.
Well, look, I mean, just to come in there is I've had the experience of, being the patient relationship we've got, apart from being friends for many years, is what I really admired is the fact that, you took me through the process and said, look, this is what this piece of machinery is going to do. It's going to scan. I then saw the end result. It's one thing for you to see a result. And the ODA, the guy would throw up an X-ray and he'd show you. And frankly, I didn't even know what it was. Like I look at it and go, yeah. Okay, you need to have that done and that done. Okay, yeah. Whereas what's different with this, with the digital side of it, is because it's three-dimensional, and I think from a layman's point of view, you could rotate it and say, look, Craig, this is the good side, this is the bad side, this is what we're going to do for the functionality, which is what I wanted. I mean, more than just the aesthetics. I wanted functionality being a professional presenter. So I see digital, here's my statement, as a layperson, I seen digital being the only way to go, because you can then validate for me, as a patient, the evidence base, and then I can understand why there'd be a premium on the service that you'd
absolutely,
offer.
Absolutely.
You can show me crystal clear, what is going to be done, and you can show me crystal clear what a solution would be, and I think that's the way to go.
Apart from the clinical development or the clinical aspects involved, which you don't really necessarily communicate technical. So I'd rather put it as technical. You don't really communicate the technical stuff with the patient. But what you can do is it's an incredible communication tool to be able to show digitally what your intentions are, where you want to go. And it makes the understanding for the layperson so much easier. A picture says 1,000 words easily. And with digital manipulation, we can show you before and after prior to touching you. So
Correct.
It gives
Absolutely.
you the advance of having no risk initially. You can walk away from it.
Well, in my case, that's what I appreciated. You actually
Yeah.
show me, Craig, this is your jaw structure, this is what's happening,
That's
this
it.
is your bite. Because I literally had pain and suffering while I was presenting. And when we spoke, I said, look, please, looking pretty is fine, but at 52, you need to be a facio, Maxio, and not just dental to help me. But you took away, literally, from the consultation, you took away the pain for me. And that I appreciate. Apart from doing a job of trying to make me look great, which is for your self-confidence, which it is. So let's go to Ron here. Ron, you've got a great dad. I can tell you that. I've known him for a long time. But what have you guys learnt in your relationship as the parents and bringing it back to your competitiveness? What has dad taught you and the family taught you about, competing? Did they teach you anything? You can say no, I don't mind either. Maybe you did it all yourself.
I was going to say, you better answer nicely.
No. Now's the time. It's almost Christmas, by the way, for our audience. This is the time for him to get his shares up. If you want to be invited to the Christmas lunch.
You said obviously when you start something, you need to finish.
Okay, so that's dear sessions for more. Translation is having that tenacity and drive and never giving up.
But no, it's just, deursettingsvermoë is one big thing. And it's about, you need to enjoy the stuff you compete
Hey,
in.
well said. Enjoy. Yeah.
So you can't just go and do something that you're not going to enjoy. Even if you're good at it, it's not going to... Which was maybe the case with athletics. It wasn't my first choice because running around, getting tired, and not getting anything back for it was tough at the beginning, but you get used to it, and the guys there is nice, and you make friends and all those kind of stuff, and then you...
What's the camaraderie like, by the way, in your sport?
It's very good.
Okay. So it's competitive, but you have... that's why we love our ocean sports, am I right? Seriously, that's what I love. I tell every parent, please, man, get your kids involved in sports. Because, what I found is... first of all, nobody asks me down at the ocean, doing my extreme sports. They never go like, okay, what's your job? Am I right? No, what's your title? I've never had anybody ask me. They'll go, hey, can you do a forward loop and land it? Can you show me how? On the track, is it the same thing? Like before you guys go and actually compete to beat each other, is there a great vibe between all of you as teammates, even though you're competitors?
Yeah, it's we're friends first, and then
Yeah.
it's like with Charles, he's my best friend before. Even on the track, it's not about who wins and who loses. Afterwards, it's back to normal.
You're all trying to do your best on the day.
Yeah, you're basically doing your best for yourself, and then you're happy if you did your best. Doesn't matter if I won or he won or another guy won. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's very, as I say, we're friends first, and then on the track, and it's the same. They don't ask your job title either.
Yeah, correct.
How fast you run, or how high you jump.
Faster than you. Okay, next time they ask you how run you, just faster than you. If you're going to be first, I'm going to be right there by you. Okay, so we're going to get into a few more. I want to just flesh out some of the content for our audience. Me being a business coach and inspirational speaker. So let's look at some of the elements. Okay, and I'm going to try and match for both of you the different elements. So the first thing I'll look at is, what's the CQ, the challenge quotient? So the challenge for you is a world record, but it was your personal best, which you achieved. So the next thing is to set a world record and get a goal. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the next thing. On dentistry, let's go. What would your challenge be? Is keeping up with the technology. Am I right to say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The moment a new piece of technology is released, it's almost obsolete.
Yeah. This new, latest, greatest.
The development is so fast, and in a way, it's almost a little bit daunting. And that's your biggest challenge, is understanding what you are working with.
Right.
And the second part is, as I said earlier, everything's peer reviewed. In most parts, especially on the surgical side, things are peer reviewed. And then when you move over to the restorative end of things, now suddenly you are challenging new territory.
Yeah.
And there's very little to refer to whether you're doing right or wrong.
Okay, so you're innovating as ground. My wording is, I must say, as groundbreaking. Is that the right wording?
It's definitely groundbreaking.
Okay. Yeah.
But at some point, you've got to understand where groundbreaking has to stop, and the evidence has to be put up to say that you are breaking the right ground.
Well said. Well said.
So it's fine.
Let's look at then the next thing would be, okay, so it's adapting to the new technology. Then let's talk about skills. What skills do you think you need to, and let's aspire now, okay? Because remember, I want to energize and excite people about the aspiration. What skill do you think you need to get to the world championship, world record level? What skill do you think you're going to need?
Definitely the first thing, I think you need a structure in terms of coaching and training and that kind of thing. And then passion. I don't know if that counts as a skill, but you definitely need that. And the other thing is, again, deursettingsvermoë. I don't know.
Yeah, the skill. Okay, so that's combining skill and attitude that's been driven within a structure.
Yeah, for me at this level, it's not really that much physical, because everybody there is physically.
They're physically all very capable.
And they're all very good. I think it's more mentally that you're going to be better or be just a bit faster than the other guy.
And then let's come to you with skills. What skills, how do you hone your skills? How do you improve your skills in what you do? Obviously, there's the actual practice of what it is.
Repetition.
Reading.
I spend my life reading. I spend a lot of time, like I say to you, I travel quite a bit to keep up to date, see what my colleagues are doing worldwide. I have a vast amount of connections worldwide. We discuss, we chat. I belong to not everyone, but as many groups I possibly can to improve my understanding of what. So
yours is
it's ongoing. If I thought I studied when I did my degree, I'm doing it now.
Now listen to this. This is words of wisdom. The actual fact is continual learning. More now. I love what you just said.
Absolutely.
Because the younger audience watching this, if they want to aspire to your career, they're going to go, okay, I'm going to go and study this for how many years? Let's say 7 years. How many years?
It's
initially
a little bit.
Okay, so let's say. And then they think it's done. And you saying is, no ways. It's a continual, non-stop learning experience. Let's go to the next one, which you touched on earlier on, is EQ, emotional quotient. Which in business we talk about the right attitude, enthusiasm, drive, determination, can do, never give up. I mean, there's no doubt, me being an entrepreneur, that's one of the X factors as jy kry 'n pak sla, you get a massive klap, right? You got to get up again. Let's go with you. Let's go with your athletics. Was there a time where you thought, well, I don't know, maybe I should give up?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say no.
Actually,
Okay.
no,
Yes.
no, actually, if I wasn't going to make world champs in 2017, I was going to do some cycling or something.
So that was your benchmark. If you didn't get,
Yeah, if I'm done with university and nothing happened, then I'm going to leave it and go to another route.
And on your side, Doc, how do you relate attitude in your profession?
Everything. My profession is a personal service. So I'm very close to people all day long. I'm within your private space.
Very private space. I mean, crumbs, I
So
wouldn't let somebody else do, like, be so close in my private space.
So I need to understand you as a person. And the relationship, by the way, for those who are people receiving the service, for you to understand that the relationship goes both ways, by the way.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not your guy. It's not about the ability or that he does a bad job or this or that or the other. Sometimes you guys just don't get along. Save yourself the effort for both of you. Find someone.
Well, look, I'll tell you what I appreciate coming in there. What I appreciate about you and our relationship, because we've known each other, is you still kept the exact level of professionalism with me, in the sense that you said, look, this is what I expect to happen from my side, right? And you then led me through the process. You explained everything, even though I trust you because I know your dad for many years. You didn't take advantage of that. You said, look, apart from the fact that I trust you to do the work right, let me take you through the process. Your attitude was one of empathy, understanding. Also, really, I did have a bit of a fear factor. Being a presenter, having somebody deal with, your presentation ability, your future, drilling, all that type of stuff is intense. Let's go to the next thing. So let's just go where we're going. Challenge quotient. Then we've got skills, which is actually your IQ, intelligence quotient. You've got EQ, emotional quotient, which is attitude. The next thing is your spiritual quotient, SQ. What do you think your purpose is? The spirituality. Do you pray before you race? Do you meditate? I mean, what is your X factor at a world-class level that you do differently that maybe helps you get on a track at a world-class level?
So I just maybe say prayer, one or two prayers before I get on the track, and then.
Okay, well, when you get into business, we do that every day. Every entrepreneur watching this, and I'm not talking religion. As an entrepreneur, if you want to have a high level of faith, become an entrepreneur. I pray every single day, before, after, and at the end of the day. You want to know what it's like? Okay, my prayer is like, get me through the day. Let me shine my best, seriously. And at the end of the day, I go, thank you for getting me through that day. Doc, on your side, Peter, just tell us how would you relate to spirituality in digital dentistry? I mean, does it apply?
I'm going to take it away for a moment from the digital side. I'm just going to take it to the service end of it.
Perfect.
By that, I'm saying that spirituality, we all are spiritual beings. It's your belief system and your religion is not at play here. You got to understand that. And I heard such beautiful words from a friend yesterday who said that if you listen, you might learn.
Yeah.
And that's where my spirituality starts and ends, is I listen carefully to what someone asks and says. The body language, the whole presentation, the whole coming across tells me that I have to approach this in a certain way. I don't just fall away and say, you need this, you need that, you do that. I need to feel what that person feels. So that to me is absolutely key, that you connect with the spirituality in your own right, for yourself, and to whoever your spirituality goes. And then the same with the spiritual being that is receiving your service. You need to connect with that. And once you connect with that, then you can start building a relationship. And the relationship is of key importance when it comes to the trust.
Yeah.
So your outcome is directly related to that.
So these are words of wisdom for us. And I'll tell you, I'm 52 years young. I've got a 5-year-old. And the interesting thing is, she's taught me to pause and to listen. Because, you know, what'll happen is I'll say to her, hey, Daddy wants to do this and this with you and da-da, and I'll suggest what I think will be quite a cool idea. And interestingly, when I ask her, what would you like to do? And I pause and I listen. Then she'll say, you know, Dad, I just want to go and watch a movie with you. Now, that's the last thing I thought she'd want to do. Right? On my to-do list, I want to keep her hyper and games. And this is pearls of wisdom in the sense that being an entrepreneur, one of my biggest challenges has always been to pause, to have what we call a stop meeting, to reflect, to strategize, and to listen. Next point. You're going to love this point. And we're almost wrapping up. We've got a few more minutes. The next one's called PQ, physical quotient, actions. Okay, that's what's going to love this. In other words, I be in a knee, those little legs aren't going like crazy. Okay, you're not going to win the race. What actions are you going to take going forward into the new year to lift your game? What do you think? And I've got a suggestion for you, by the way, because I watched this video a few times, and I have done athletics, not at your level, but I think me being objective, I can give you some of my pearls of wisdom. So the question is, what new actions do you think you should do going forward to lift your game?
Okay, firstly, I need to get a gym trainer.
That's a good action, a gym trainer.
I have gotten that now in November because I gymmed on my own since World Champs or even before World Champs.
Right.
So I need to get that. As I said, structure is a very big thing for me. I feel like if you have a good structure behind you and people who support you, then it will help you instead of just having a coach at the track and then going to the track every day. It's good, but at that level of competition, you need at the track every day is not gonna. That's not gonna.
It's much more than just on the track.
Cut the mustard anymore.
Yeah.
Especially at that level, the other guys are. It's all angles that people are coming in and helping them. So I think that's what I need to try and sort out. That would go far in helping me physically. And that's going to help me mentally as well, because then I'm going to feel people want to help me and they believe in me. And I also have the same attention as other guys. So I'll be able to compete at the same level.
At that level, correct. Yeah. So here was what I watched your video a few times deliberately. Would I be right to say one of the biggest challenges with you, okay, is going to be your arm movement, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so out of the starting blocks, I want you to go and watch this, okay? Go and watch all those races again. If you watch literally out of the starting blocks, the arm movement versus leg movement. So I think your leg movement, I think you're super fast. If I watch his leg movement, right? Because what happens is in your races, I watch, you're starting the get out of the blocks is difficult for you. I understand that. That's where you need to, me being objective is to work on that. Then you catch up. He catches up all along. I see you start gaining. So my feedback to you being objective outsider who cares about your success going forward is when you go and see your coach and you go and watch those videos, see how can you get out of that block faster, working on this strength, right? So that you can get that movement going quicker. Because I think your leg movement is phenomenal already. So you saam, ja, miskien nee.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't know.
Because one of the competitors, he needs to use a physical wooden block. I've watched it, okay? In order for him to get out of the blocks. And if I watch, for example, Charles, who won, okay, leg pace, it's fast, but his arm movement, his arms are like, seriously, he's working, and also breathing. That was the other thing, because we're talking physical now, right? Yeah. You watch the race that he won versus the guy from Brazil. The guy from Brazil wasn't focused on his breathing. Go and watch that race again a few times. Okay, the guy that won, his arm movement, breathing movement. Okay, so bringing that to business. Okay, shout out to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins talks about your actual breathing, your diaphragm movement, on how that helps you with your business preparation. Let's talk physical. We're almost on the wrap up. How would you feel that the physical actions, is there something you need to do your game? So let's go neurosurgeon. Their hands are vitally important, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So go dentistry. How do you feel physically? You got to keep. Do you need to keep fit still
Yeah.
to stay in your game? I don't know that answer. Yes.
Yeah, I need to keep fit
Okay.
because I'll be mental if I don't.
I like it. Yeah. In other words, your fitness helps your mental energy.
It does. And also, you know, you are taught ergonomic positions when you have to work, and your sitting position when you work with people, especially what we do. But we don't always stick to that.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And the first physical for me, the challenge this year, coming 2018, microscope.
Okay. Explain.
Vision.
Okay. Explain.
Vision is such a physical thing. And we're working in dentistry nowadays on microscopic levels. When we measure stuff, we measure it in microns. We don't measure in millimeters anymore. So if I measure in microns, I have to be able to see in microns. And if I can see in microns, I can deliver in microns. So that's my first physical challenge, is buying a microscope.
Okay. I mean, and that to me, from a client point of view, you're saying is the attention to detail was probably like that. It's now, it's phenomenally accurate.
It's below 150 microns if you really need to know technical value.
All right, so my name's Craig Metrowich. This is for videocelebritynews.com. Please go and watch the intro on facebook.com/Metrowich. And yeah, we've just fleshed out some more details. This is Ruan, who is a superstar athlete, Van Rooyen, with Dr. Pieter Van Rooyen. He's very blessed to have this guy as a dad. He's a friend of mine for many years. He does my dentistry. He's helped me with my smile and the functionality, which is very important to me. And this is the wrap up. Share the good news, share the light, share the positivity, and just share a world championship the next time we meet. That's a wrap.